Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Um, Give me just a second here. So last week, this was at 3 p.m. Eastern. The week before was 2 or 4. Now it's 4 again. A few things have thrown this off. So I believe Pedro's is at 2 o'clock on or 4. Let's see, I'm mountain. So hold on. When I'm saying 2, I mean mountain time. So I think Pedro's at 4 o'clock Eastern, and I think I just made this at 4 o'clock Eastern too. I think that's why I was doing one, was just to, I mean, sometimes it's not possible, guys, but when it is possible, obviously, us creators like to give a little, try and help the other creators out by not overlapping our shows. Not that it hurts anybody, but it actually helps people if we can buckle our shows up to one another. So, like, if I do 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Wednesdays and Pedro does his live at 4 p.m., then he will get he'll get some. I mean, he already gets all his people, but in theory he would get some of this group that would go over there, and I could even push it that way. We do for Dashing Grandpa on Thursday. But I believe that when you can, and there's really nothing that's, especially since my son finishes school tomorrow, there's really nothing that's in my way of making that an hour difference, and it kind of allows for no overlap. So I always try and do stuff like that. So um, let me move over to my notes here real quick and say hello to the chat. So welcome everyone in the chat and those who are watching on the replay. Um, this is the Last Mile, and each week on the Last Mile, we're going to talk about last mile apps, primarily courier ones. However, I have no problem throwing in some dumpling work that I do. I've been thinking about this. You know, I'm willing to throw in a few things. I just don't want this to become the last mile and it's 50+% food delivery space, because, and it's nothing against that. I mean, a lot of the things I do, working with Gary Middleton, working with Para, working with some of the other companies that I try and like get engulfed with. To be honest, like, you know, there's a lot of other shows that do the breakdown of the food delivery apps. Now, that said, if we want to do some comparisons and people who try out last mile courier services and go back to food and why, there are reasons why it might end up in here. But this is really about last mile delivery apps that are courier apps. So we're talking about Curri, Amazon Flex, Dispatch, Viho, Frayt, Roadie, Bungii, and many other apps that we'll be bringing in every week. So I'm even going to get a background or an overlay of all of the apps that I know of, and we'll add to them so that, like, during the show at some point, I'll be able to either have a, if I switch myself to a different layout and then somehow around it have all the apps that I know. That is my goal. So we'll see if we can get there. Also next week, uh, great guest. And so this next week, I have no idea what time it could be. He originally said that the afternoon would work, but if not, we will be doing early evening, and then I'll probably move it back to 1 p.m. because I do have some people coming up who are CEOs or growth and marketing for some of these apps. Um, and I'm working on getting more, but but I'm trying to schedule at least one a month, one CEO or other high up with a last mile courier service to be on here. So for June, I got one, and we'll just keep going from there. I do have an assortment to choose from. I'd like to get the bigger ones in first. So with that said, let me just real quickly see who's in here. Hey, what's up, Sean Trucking? How are you, man? Sean Trucking with BS. How are you guys doing? Yeah, I just did a live stream paying my respects to Tina Turner. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a big music guy myself, so I mean, it's odd with some of these artists because clearly a lot of these artists, some people might not be, might not really like, but I feel like if you first of all, you always respect a musician. If you have a respect for music, you have a respect for the musician. But to be honest, you know, I feel like a lot of times people look at it and they're like, oh, I don't really like Tina Turner, and they feel bad, obviously, for the situation. But no, not a 2 hour documentary, but I feel like a 10-minute like documentary on a musician that passed when they're like epic in any of the genres. I feel like it's worth checking it out because those people have some they have a story to tell whether you're into the music or not. I know, like, for example, I know a lot of Motown people, um, or people who probably, let me put it this way, being from Michigan, having most of my family from Detroit, Motown. I was brought up with Motown. Our Christmases were Motown. So I mean, like, for those of you that know that, like, Mariah Carey and all these other people create, I don't even know if I want to say it. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend any Mariah Carey fans, but I have to say it a mid sentence. Like, one of her biggest selling albums of all time is a Christmas album. I hate it. I think it's awful. I can't believe it exists. But honestly, that's just not my style. But every single person in Motown in Detroit was recording Christmas songs. So there's like as many Christmas songs that are Motown style as there are just traditional Christmas music that's being played across the board. So thank you, Sean, for bringing that up. And yeah, the loss of Tina Turner is a big one. What a career she had, and it wasn't just Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome. She actually, and if you ever go back and I can't remember, there's some live stuff out there. What's up, Kay? I was just talking about you. Hopefully next week we're on to do this. Um, really want to get you on here and broaden that out a bit. But yeah, just talking about that, it's um, and I see, Sean, you're talking about who else comes out of Michigan. You're saying like Bob Seger, true, Ted Nugent, true, Madonna, true. Um, and some of these others, but I mean, who you're leaving out are all of the Motown. I mean, there was a couple who were like in Cincinnati or even in Cleveland and maybe even Toledo, but very few. And most of them were recording up in Detroit. So, like, literally every single Motown person lived in Detroit. So, I mean, we had them all. We had Marvin Gaye, we had Aretha Franklin, we had Jackson 5, we had um, and you name them, they were there. And one of my all-time favorites, but it's more funk, P-Funk. I'm a big George Clinton fan and things he's done, including like helping record some of the first two Red Hot Chili Pepper albums. And I would challenge you guys to go back and listen to, I can't remember which one it is that, so there's one that was out before the album, I believe, is called Under the Bridge. If not, the song Under the Bridge is on it by Red Hot Chili Peppers. If you go back and listen to that album, which is one of their all-time classics, Blood Sugar Magic is what it's called. If you go back and listen to that album and the album before, they're both produced by George Clinton. And I'll tell you what, he got them on the right direction. They were a fun band that was doing crazy things on stage, but he actually dialed that stuff down. And yeah, so anyways, guys, so yeah, like I was saying, hopefully Kay's here now. It's good to have you, Kay. Hopefully you'll be joining us next week. Again, if we need to, we can juggle the time a bit. I just really, the next level of stepping there is kind of when Kay joins me here, I want to talk about using vans, Sprinter vans, and multi-apping all of these last mile apps that we talk about here weekly, and the websites. So there's a lot of websites to optimize that we've talked about. This is episode 8, by the way, guys. So today we're going to really quickly discuss Frayt, Metrobi, Bungii, my experience. Then I'm going to share a StreamYard link. And if anybody wants to join up. Again, I ran this at the wrong time. It should have been 1 p.m. Mountain, should have been 3 p.m. Eastern. And that way, it's supposed to be an hour show. It runs right up and buckles up to Pedro's. But, it is what it is. But so next week, hopefully Kay's my guest, and I will arrange the time next week based on what works for him. But after that, I'll probably go back to 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, and that will just be the locked in time because that leads right up to Pedro's. So, yeah. So let me quickly let's go through a little stuff here, guys. So I took some screenshots here to produce for you. So one is let me do Metrobi first because I don't know if you guys remember, but I had the CEO founder. Actually, we did. Um, most of the CEO founder companies, when I do a first interview with them, it's usually just me and I do a rodeo presents or it goes on the audio podcast and maybe I bring it over here. But two times that I've done a first interview with a CEO of a company, um, I've done it on the Rodeo Thursday roundtable, and Metrobi was one of them, and the other one was Stable Insurance, which is like um, Buckle Insurance or BuckleUp.com, but it really was only serving the Illinois area, getting ready to expand. If you go back and watch that interview, they were getting ready to go out of state. I don't know if you guys are aware, but a couple months back, I was alerted to the fact that Buckle and Stable are no longer able to offer these insurances for gig workers. Now, I did find out that I think it was Bud Soda was able to, even though they told him no, we're gonna be done. He has Buckle. He called them and they were able to offer him another 3 months. So I don't know if they're like trying. I know that they're both. The word I got from both was that they're trying to restructure. But what I figured, especially for Stable in Illinois, is they're waiting to see what happens with this common carrier status because that could change everything for rideshare in Illinois. And I don't even know if, like, I guess we know Uber and Lyft have threatened to leave. Would they? I don't know, but I honestly am not one of the people who say they would never leave. I'm one of the people who say the city and state won't let them leave. So even if the city and state puts out a threat and a time and a date, and if you're not on board with this and all your people aren't this, then on this date and time you'll be kicked out. I honestly believe we've taught all of these gig companies, especially Uber and Lyft, some horrible lessons, which is at some point the state will fold. So it's like every time Uber and Lyft calls their bluff, the state will fold. Now, will it be a full fold or do they come up with agreements? Who knows, but I mean, we're seeing a lot more agreements going through. And anyway, I'm going to start with Metrobi. We did a Metrobi interview, had their CEO on, and they were in Boston and two other cities, I believe. And I want to say Baltimore, and I feel like they were not in New York. Don't know why. Even though they're up there, I feel like they were in Boston, Baltimore, and if I had to guess, I'd say Philly because it was another city up there. But I believe it was not New York. But then they had like 8 cities they were launching. Well, Denver went live yesterday. And I would tell, I went and signed up and I am on the wait list. Now, will I be calling the CEO and founder? Absolutely, I will, man, because you got to work it, right? So I'll be calling him to see if there's any chance of getting off that. I know that they're basing it on once they launch a market, they're basing their wait list on, how many accounts they have, just like a lot of these last mile things. So, is there a spot for me? Maybe. I'm not looking to like crush anybody, but I just want to ask him and see what the likelihood of getting off it kind of soon is. Um, but that's my onboarding app for this week. And every week, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, guys. I'm going to try, but that's my onboarding one. I'm waiting on that. I'm on Frayt and have been on Frayt, but I want to go through this because there's a couple things I want to tell you guys because I had a very good Frayt the other day, and the few that I normally take are like okay fillers for when I'm doing Curri and other last mile services, or if I'm doing like some of my dumpling customers. They're good fillers. I don't mind, and I know people in certain markets who rave about Frayt and are like, and even I do know somebody in a market who Frayt is off the hook, but Curry's not in that market yet. So, I mean, guys, we can't say this enough. Market to market matters, 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 matters. Yes, it does. So, the Frayt app. So it's pretty easy. The blue app is for drivers. The orange app is for shippers. I have been through both. I will say that the driver app, and I've used the driver app, is very, very simple. But the customer side app is very simple too. And that's a big difference between some of the other last mile courier apps because they've made it very easy on getting through the customer side there. I will give you one word of caution. And it's not even really caution because I got to I need to remember this because I don't know for sure. Um I don't think I was waitlisted for Frayt. So for me, when I signed up, I was just put right on. It was done in a couple of days. If you're waitlisted, I don't know how this would apply, but it's something to be aware of. However, everybody I know on Frayt gets good offers. So the only question I would have to what I'm about to show you guys is are they are they charging this and then having you sit on a wait list? Or is this only charged when you're going to come off the wait list? Because here, so this is for Frayt. Thank you for your interest in applying to drive to Frayt. Once approved as an independent contractor driver, you will be able to start taking matches deliveries. Before you get started, you'll want to make sure you have the information needed to complete the application. This includes you'll need these for the application: vehicle insurance and registration. Okay, driver's license. Okay, photo of vehicle. Okay, and a credit card for the application of $35. Now, to me, last mile services are where it's at, and this is absolutely worth the money. It's look at this is your business, and you're investing in your business. I know none of us wanted like if you had never heard of this app and somebody's like, go try this app. Where what does it do? I don't know. Like Trip when it was around had more drivers than they did a customer base. So I won't get into the nasty gnarly of Trip, but I will say this that okay, look, um, I wouldn't have paid the monthly subscription for Trip or the monthly subscription that some of these people, no names being named, have tried to charge for DoorDash stuff, like finding tip transparency, and like Para had many a time. But the problem is, guys, I'm also going to shed a little light here. There is a thing that if you keep under 1,000 users with DoorDash, and if you want to pay what it would take to keep that data, because I mean, it would cost you some money to have up to 1,000 doing this too. But there is still to this day a way to get tip transparency and fly under the radar from DoorDash. However, once you go over that 1,000, it's like you show up um, on the air radar. You've come above the low barrier, and you're now being seen by the radar. So it's like you got to stay low, but it is still a possibility. However, I don't think people should be charging. I think they changed the code too much. It goes down, it goes up. When we first found it with Para, it just worked all the time. So, but with Frayt, what I wanted to tell you guys again, Frayt guys, it is worth to me, it is worth the $35. I just am wondering, do they charge you the $35 today if your area is waitlisted? Again, I was not waitlisted, so I don't remember. But if anybody does, please, if anybody knows, please put it in the comments. Like if you apply to Frayt, do they take $35 from you and then put you on a wait list? Some cities don't have a wait list for Frayt. But if they do they put you on the wait list but collect that 35 beforehand, or do they wait to charge the 35 until you're going to be active? I would hope that that's the case, is that it's until they don't charge it until you're active. However, they probably use that to offset doing your background check. So my thought is they might charge it right up front. Regardless, I think Frayt is good. I'm going to tell you guys something that I hadn't noticed any patterns with Frayt. Okay, and I know that maybe some of the orders that I was seeing a lot more cargo van orders. Okay, and a lot more bigger stuff. However, there are some in my market, but there was no logic to them. It was more like B to C, just kind of here and there stuff, not really like how Curri's with Ferguson Plumbing and with Sherman Williams Paint and with U.S. Electric and those things. There wasn't a rhyme and reason with this one. But what I so there we go. I see Steiny J says Trip was a scam. Yes, Trip was a scam, 100%. I was just trying not to be that guy, but yes, it was. In fact, for those of you not familiar, Trip's logo is a pyramid. I think it's invert. I think so, a pyramid, but I think it's inverted. But still, just use your head and flip the logo, and you'll see the pyramid. Should tell you right away the word scheme should follow. But anyway, yeah, there were a lot of issues with Trip. But the I have now picked up a like one at least one location that I see Frayt is working with here now, and I've had 3 offers this week and I took one. I'd had no offers for this. Like I told you, I don't see a lot of Frayt, and sometimes they're just these random ones. Some have been like a little farther. I've only done a handful, but I think they're picking up a couple customers. I'm gonna give you an example, and I don't know if this is like a way to handle returns for this business, but 3 times this week I've seen Frayt pickups that are coming to me, so I can get them that are available to me. Um, that are going from, I can't always tell by the address, but it looks like from customers, like from houses or maybe ones from a business, I don't know, but going to IKEA. And I'm wondering if Frayt and IKEA have done some teaming up. This is kind of what happens. And if they're now working with IKEA on returns. Um, just a thought. I'm just kind of curious because IKEA does have delivery trucks, but I have talked to people in the transit and dispatching last mile services before, and I've said, like, well, isn't there a way to double whammy this and have like again, I was stepping outside the boundaries of normal, but like have a return zone and the truck does its deliveries and then picks up all these returns while it's in this area that you've dispatched it to. I mean, couldn't you do that? Or, isn't there another way? And they're like, I mean, basically, this wasn't IKEA, but other companies that I've discussed this with said the logistical problem is that you need a vehicle that can go do returns and one that can do deliveries all day. So my curiosity is kind of sparked here because the companies I've talked to that about have made me understand why that wouldn't work. Um, and so what I guess I'm wondering is maybe they have gig workers now returning items to IKEA, and then they're shipping out the replacement ones to the customers on the IKEA trucks. Could very well be. I don't know. It makes me happy when I see a big name box store or you know big box company come on board with these apps because then I'm like, sweet man, that's gonna be more business. So, but yeah, I don't know. Let me see what you guys are thinking here. Uh, Yeah, 3 will work. Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, it's done and done, man. Sean, I like that. Even though I had relatives that lived in Michigan, half the music of the world, uh, would without exist without I think you mean would not exist without Michigan, and yeah, that's absolutely true. Most people don't recognize that, so thank you, Sean. Kevin Hawthorne, how are you, sir? Marissa, how are you? Um, Sorry for the typos. I'm using voice to text. Yeah, who doesn't? That's what we get when we do this. What's happening? What's up, Roy? How are you, buddy? Um, is that fair to others to have been waiting to do that? Are you talking about like me asking Metrobi to see? I'm not asking him to move me up, Roy. I'm honestly just asking him like because they just came to market here. I want to see if just how long. I mean, he might not even have an answer, but somewhat how long? How long does it look like? Because when I saw that they were now in the Denver market, I signed up that day. That was it yesterday or today? And it was immediately put me on the wait list. So I don't know. I mean, this is the launching of a new market. So maybe there isn't even a wait list. Maybe that was a pre-sign up, and who knows? Maybe I'll be accepted real quick. I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't know too much about the gig working but when it comes to CDL owner operator truckers, I'm pretty well uh worse than that. I think you mean did you mean versed in that? Because you are a trucker. You are a CDL owner operator trucker. And in fact, guys, I'm gonna put a link up here in um I'm gonna put a link up here in a second. And Sean, if you wanna join in, or anybody, what's up, Brian? Hey, what's up? What's up, Peter? How are you? And yeah, and I saw Steiny. I like that. Trip was a scam. Look, guys, I mean, if we I mean, if you don't know, Trip was a scam. It was a scam. It was, I mean, you could go look it up. It actually even had change of ownership and still remained to be a scam. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's almost next to impossible to start up a rideshare company these days. So kudos to anybody that does. I'm actually very curious. I talked about it on the podcast this week. I'm very curious to learn more about this Black Wolf that's in Atlanta and New York now only. But every rideshare driver on the Black Wolf app must undergo proper, not checker, but proper background insurance, must have all of their permits and everything in place, correct insurance, and every driver on the platform must carry a gun. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are going to say that's the stupidest idea ever. To me, I'm not saying that it's for everybody, but I would feel a lot safer going on a rideshare drive with a driver who I know has a gun, who is properly trained to use that gun, who has undergone a real background check, who has been properly trained how to do this job, than I would just getting in any given rideshare. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've done this for many, many years. Look, I mean, even in 2015, it was happening, but not like now. Drivers carry guns anyway. So do you want the person who just bought a gun because he's been robbed a couple times, or he's a little just scared and hasn't ever been robbed maybe, and who bought a gun but doesn't know how to use it? Is that who you want driving? I'm not saying they're looking to start anything with you, but I would rather have somebody who has a firearm, is trained to use it, and knows how to, knows how to best step in and handle a situation. Because I think also you're going to lose a lot of the people who are carjacking and all that kind of thing. I think you're just going to lose, because they'll go to, why wouldn't you go to Uber and Lyft and carjack, as opposed to like going to this Black Wolf app and literally seeing every driver carries a gun and is trained to use it, kind of like, why would you go there as opposed to just what they're doing right now and just going to the untrained, unchecked apps? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, armor car drivers, uh that ride share won't last long. You mean with the ones with the guns, Roy? I don't know, man. The two cities that they picked, New York's always a toss up for me, because I feel like New York, some things make sense. They integrate them and then they're gone like a day later. Some things are, you can tell it's the worst thing ever. They integrate it and it sticks around for a while. So I don't really know that, but I know Atlanta's having a big problem with violence, almost like what we were seeing with like Southside Chicago and stuff, and not even rideshare so much, but like delivery drivers being jacked. So, yeah, to that I say, um, I think Atlanta's just kind of had it. And it's like Atlanta also started an all woman um, rideshare company, women drivers and only women clients, and you can't rent it for other people. So you can't call one for another person. It has to be you. They actually have a QR process. There's like a whole thing to make sure you're the right person, the right driver, all that. Look, every rideshare company, I'm gonna be honest, has nothing but an extreme uphill battle. And look at Austin. Okay, Austin has had 4 rideshare startups, and 2, I think 3 of them have been for, like, just your normal ones. One was for kids. It was, like, supposed to be like a hop, skip, drive. Insurance gets outrageous for those, but there was a period when 2 of the startups that were operating in Austin were there during I think it was 8 or 10 weeks that Uber and Lyft had to leave the city. They were kicked out of Austin. And I know we always say we're waiting for one of these states to go and to see if they actually leave and what happens. But the funny thing is that um, this has already happened. And I mean, Austin isn't, maybe it's not as big as Dallas or Houston, but it's not nothing. It's a sizable city. And Uber and Lyft left for 8 weeks. I mean, they were gone for a while, and during a time when these 2 startups actually had a little legs going under them to maybe make something. Who knows? But it was too bad because I would love to see one of these startups make it. It seems like Lyft is doing a lot of the right things right now. However, like, is it too late? Is it way too late? I mean, part of me thinks so, because there's not going to be more funding coming in, and I think they've gone just under $5 billion in all in cash equity valuation of business. So I know 5 billion still sounds like a lot, guys, but that's down from whatever. What was it? 2 years ago? 3 years ago. I can't remember, but whenever Lyft went out on the Nasdaq, they came out at $72 a share. They were so overvalued. I mean, that had it up in the you know, way too high billions. And I think at the time, I think it's getting better about it. I think that's why some of these companies hold off. But at the time, the market didn't know how to recognize these companies. Didn't, like, you have no assets, you have no employees, you have no, what do you have? And yet still they're being multi billion dollar valuations. And it's like, you don't have any assets, you don't have any, like, where's your FF&E? Where's your business? It seems like there's just a computer. I know there's a lot of servers, and I know that costs a ton, but it seems like there's just a computer, a database, and you're just dispatching rides to drivers. So, um, you know, anyway, um, so I wanted to walk you guys through a little bit of Bungii. I'm gonna put the link up in case right after this anybody wants to join for a little bit, because I run till the top of the hour. Um, Let me see. We'll put it up now, but let me get through just this Bungii thing, because I found out an issue with my Bungii anyway. So, um, so I just put it up, but if you can just give me a couple minutes before you join, let me get through this part right here. Okay, Bungii. So, if you guys are familiar with the app, I know Kay's in here still, and I know Kay has a van, so he's able to make this work for him. I'm not sure how often he's used Bungii. I asked him a few weeks back, and I don't know if he had even had a ton of experience with Bungii. Some obviously, but I've been telling you guys, I've been onboarded for Bungii for a bit with my SUV, um, and I've seen very, very few offers, and they're now ones I'd take, but they're not the worst, but they're just like, this is all that's coming through here. Well, I actually dug into my Bungii app today and what is going on. And um, so here's the thing. So you can choose box truck, cargo van, um, sprinter van, pickup truck, or SUV with trailer. Now, when I signed up, maybe I signed up with the SUV with trailer, but it said in the app that I hadn't shown a picture of my trailer yet. So, because a lot of this I do to learn as well, I actually called them. I actually got through to support. Another thing about these last mile delivery courier apps, they're great because most of the support's in the country usually. But I called support and I said, listen, I've been getting a couple offers, nothing great. And as you can see on my account, I haven't taken any because I see so few. But I just saw this on your website, but I'm active on your website. And they looked and they said, yeah, you're active, but you've never put in a picture for your trailer, for your SUV. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, At the time, I was thinking about getting one because I honestly don't even remember seeing it. So I was just trying to be like, okay, I didn't want to get thrown off. So I was like, I don't remember seeing that option when I signed up, and I don't. Um, but I said, but I still see a couple. And she said to me that, oh yeah, well, you still might, if you see it, you could get it without the trailer. But then she told me, but if you add the trailer, if you just add a trailer to your SUV, you'll see a lot more offers with us. And I asked her about my area. She looked it up. She said, "Oh yeah." She goes, "You're not seeing a lot right now." So I guess I have not been Bungee ready, and I need to get that hooked up because I should be able to pick up a trailer fairly easy, And I have a trailer attachment in the back of my SUV. I don't know. I've never owned a trailer, but I would think they're not too much. I know you got to have the lights connected, things like that. But I'm gonna run through a couple bungees and then I'm gonna bring in a person or two. Looks like I got one back there already. But so Bungee, they're saying like you could earn up to $45 an hour. This I really liked here because I think it's funny because no other app approaches it this way. Bungee drivers average 1,200 steps per trip. Now I know this from Curri. I'm carrying tons of pounds of weight of paint and other things, and I do a lot of steps. But bungee drivers average 1,200 steps per trip. Doing a few bungees a day makes you more active than most Americans. That's a pretty clever approach because I've never seen that before. Like, hey man, you want to walk more and do more work, which most people don't. However, maybe the steps thing is something because I see all these people who wear step gear or whatever, watches or whatever. They're trying to get 10,000. I guess I don't worry about getting my 10,000 steps in because I pretty much do that every day. It's a no brainer. Um, but so yeah, there's that. So the basics of Bungee drivers will help loading and unloading, and you need to be able to carry 125 pounds. So I like that they've just straight up put that out there. Most of the other apps don't. Beyond the beater, don't get us wrong, vintage trucks are really cool, but we ask that all Bungee drivers sport 1998s or newer. So, like, perfect example here. Like last week, was it last week that I had Brian Kern on from Pittsburgh? Brian drives a 96 van on Curri and gets amazing offers because he's an independent contractor and they count on him to know, hey, can your vehicle, is it going to be able to do this job or is it going to die? And from what he's told me, he's rebuilt that thing so well that, it ain't going nowhere soon. So it's like, that's how it should be. It should be based on, is your car in working condition? Because that's how it would be with every other independent job. I mean, they're not, no independent contractor that's taken bids from you on things like this outside of the apps would ever ask you the condition of your vehicle. And there's reasons for that. I mean, they don't want to legally tie themselves to saying they knew about something or whatever. They just want to get the job out. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's easy to put it on you. So, and I'm not even saying that as a bad thing. It's how it should be. But lock it down, basic knowledge of how to strap in and secure items. I like this too, because to be honest, I have to deal with this stuff all the time on Curri. And I'd even be okay with some videos, like 2-minute videos on 4 sections. You have to watch each one. A lot of us, yeah, you can hit play and walk away and come back. But if you keep it to 90 seconds or 120 seconds, then I think most people watch it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you need to know how to lock it down, because especially when you're moving paint and things like that, and a lot of these drivers will be coming from food apps, rideshare, whatever. But to be honest, to say that you need um, to do that is in my opinion is good, because like you can have a paint spill in your car, and you're talking about a big ugly problem if you do when you're moving thousands of pounds. So and then straps on straps. At minimum, we ask that drivers have 4 ratchet straps, 2 moving blankets, and a tarp. I love that I love that they do that because I don't know. I just think it's really cool. And so real quickly, I'm going to run through the maps, guys. This is Bungee. This is where they're at. Yellow is coming soon. Green is active. And real quick, here's the cities they're in actively right now. We'll just run through them. Atlanta, Austin, Baltimore, Atlanta, Austin, Baltimore, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Denver, Fort Myers, Fairfield, Connecticut, Greenville, South Carolina, Indianapolis, Indiana, Houston, Jacksonville, Kansas City, um, Louisville, Kentucky, Las Vegas, Memphis, Miami, Minneapolis, Nashville, Orlando, Phoenix. What else we got? Philadelphia, Richmond, Salt Lake City, San Antonio, Sarasota, St. Louis, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Virginia Beach, Washington, D.C. area, and Wichita, Kansas. And yeah, so I got Sean backstage. I'm gonna bring Sean up here real quick, but right before I do, one last thing I want to do. I want to walk through again, guys, what it looks like when you accept a Curri order and you've got it. Because again, I've told the team, and I know they're working on it, but this is a big throw off with a lot of people. So look, okay, so an offer came up where you see that underneath it where it says our system is collecting drivers' responses, blah blah blah. Underneath that is a blue button that says I'm interested. Now, so when this order came through, 3 miles, I can't remember what it's for, $32, $33. We'll see on the next one. I hit that button. I'm interested, and it says it's collecting it. Now, I'm not kidding. And this even happened with Marissa the other day. So I was able to tell her this. But look, so 3 miles, $35. It's not paint. It's just some little doodads. As soon as I clicked, I'm interested, and it says marked as interested. You see that yellow top that says you have shown interest in this delivery and are marked as a backup. We might reach out to you again if a driver is still needed. Do not close the app at this point, because 99% of the time when it's set, after you hit you're interested, 99% of the time, this yellow thing comes up, and it takes 30 to 50 seconds for it to say this. You got it. So I always just hit I'm interested. I leave it open. Immediately the yellow bar comes up, says somebody else got it. I just leave it open for a minute, stare at it, and within that minute, it'll say I got it almost every time. Some people are closing the apps, and then you get unassigned yourself, not you unassigned yourself, but they did. And that doesn't hurt you, but at the same time, you very well might have got something you were bidding for. So let me see. I got Sean and I got Roy here.
Good papa.
What's up, boys?
What's up, man?
Hey, hello. I'm glad you got me before I went in and got a coffee at this Love's here.
I was looking at it going, you ain't gonna go nowhere. You're held up behind what, 4 trucks right now?
Yeah, this fuel island is just packed and makes no sense. But see, I can I don't know too much about the gig work. I just listen in.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could tell people that, you can get into the industry, but it is a lifestyle change. But I tell you, you're from California, right?
Heck no.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm born and raised in Michigan. I live in Colorado.
He's just as bad. He's in Colorado just as bad as California down here.
Well, there was a lot of gig truckers and gig workers that live in California, but
you've been on the radio show with us to talk about it.
Yeah, what the drivers have done, the cost of living in California is through the roof. I don't bad talk California.
No, I don't either. I have a ton of friends there. Look, I mean, I don't understand how you can afford it. I have friends who are independent contractors that make 6 figures doing computer consulting. They can't afford to live up in like San Rafael or north of that up to Sebastopol and stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. And they're making 6 figures. I mean, how can you 6 figures should allow you to live pretty much anywhere. Maybe not the best neighborhood in that town, but there should not be a town where 6 figures doesn't allow you to live.
Well, but what a lot of the truckers did is hauling the freight to and from out of California is great. Okay, like I love going to California. A lot of drivers don't like going there. I'm like, good, more revenue for me, because the worst load I can get pays maybe a little bit less than $4 a mile. That's why I love going to California. But a lot of drivers that lived in California, what they did was they got family that live in the area. So what they did was is they moved to the western side of Arizona, like they live in
Yep.
Yuma,
Yep.
and then some of them moved Nevada.
Or at least, dude, we even talked to a couple that just have PO boxes.
Yeah, because the cost of living is
As
cheaper
long as you
there.
can get away with it. Like we talked to a couple truckers who have PO boxes in Reno now. They don't want to. I can't say where they actually live, but it ain't Reno.
Yeah, but
they
want
moved all their stuff over to there, so their residency's there through a PO box, which I didn't guess. It must be state to state because
yeah, but some states will bust you on that. They say we need a physical address, not a PO box.
Yeah, and to get your license, you should need an Excel bill or a water bill in your name or something. So I don't know.
I'll be right back.
But yeah, I mean, I want
to discuss that ride share thing.
Okay. Yeah, but so I don't know. The other thing about California too is that it's still these 70,000 out of work independent contractors who are making some budgets, but really they're kind of out of the game. And then I wanted to ask you, Sean, since you're here, because I've had some people cargo van, box trucks, all the way up to the big rigs like you do, like saying that these boards where you can pick up jobs, like, and if you're going somewhere, like I know you're always all over the place. So if you're going to X and you, like, let's say Houston, you want to get a turnaround, that there's some boards that you can go to. And I am now pretty getting familiar with some of them, not just for the trucking aspect, obviously, but for other things. And I've had people tell me that those jobs are lower priced than they've ever been, and that people who would never accept those low bids are. Is that true?
It can be. Certain owner ops that are under their own authority do very well because there's that niche, but there's a lot of niches that you're going to get crap. That's why I'm staying put where I'm now, being signed under a carrier under their authority, which all that means is I can only haul their freight. If I go to haul for somebody else, that means I'm no longer under their authority, and I have to strip their DOT number off. That's all it means. I can only haul their freight. But see, you want to be under a fleet, signed under a carrier, because you can get a fleet discount at the pump. If you don't, and you're a full-fledged owner operator like me, you're going to pay full price at the pump. But if you're signed under a fleet, you get the fleet discount. Like it's like almost $4 a gallon for diesel here. But with the fleet discount, I could probably pay, $2.20.
Yeah.
And you get a fuel surcharge along beside that. Yeah. Being signed under a fleet is a good gig, being an owner operator. The only thing is just I can go home anytime I want to. I could, just drop the trailer off, tell them I'm leaving, or I'm going with somebody else. I almost went with WWE. They've called me twice because two of my former students been driving for them, and they gave them my phone number and WWE, and I was like, if you can guarantee I'll be pulling for SmackDown, I would.
But Sean, are you in a better position than most? Like how you say being with a freight company is great. I feel like maybe they're not as actively seeking people, even though I know truckers are needed. I feel like, I don't know. Are you in a better position than most would be getting into this?
Yes, but that's a little tricky because my truck's paid off. I got my title almost over a year and a half
right,
ago.
And I do understand you've been doing this for years too. You and I have talked about this. You've been doing this for years. So I mean, part of everything is earning your place. So I mean, you can't just walk in day one and make the same as Sean. It's not right.
Yeah,
probably not going to happen. But I meant like if you were kind of giving advice to a newbie 2 years ago when things were huge, and now giving it to him, would you recommend? I mean, would you still say, hey, if you have a love for it, do it? Or would you say, if you have a love for it, go back and double check and come back?
Well, I would tell a new person, usually they're young. A lot of them go home because I go into a Springfield is our major yard there. Mm-hmm. And I like it when only the boys there at the yard work on my truck. They'll do my oil changes, and they'll do my, change my tires, or they'll give me a PM, a preventative maintenance on my APU. They keep my truck tip-top shape. which is what's important. And they do a lot of students every week, and a lot of these students that come there, they come here with nothing besides the clothes on their back. And you come to Prime, they'll feed you, they'll put you up, and you'll train, you'll get paid, not a substantial amount of money, but you get paid, and then eventually they get it to where you're up on your feet and on your own. But I've sent many a student home because of what I told them, and I wasn't lying to them. A lot of the students I said, you see what he's doing over there? He's in an argument with his girlfriend or fiance or whatever. I said, because she's leaving him. You're not gonna. Having a social life, it takes a special woman to be the wife or a significant other of a trucker. It does. There are a few out there, but some will just not. We're like poison for some reason, but they like spending the money.
Yeah, the guy I do the radio Driver Nation show with, Tom, who owns TNC Radio in Houston, he started a show right after we do Driver Nation on Friday nights that's the wives of truckers. And man, I just thought it was going to be like they're just going to chop it up a little bit and talk about whatever. And I got in there, man, they were like hating on their men. I was like,
oh yeah, they love
on?
Spending the money though, but that's why the major divorce rate is the trucking industry. And I make the joke. I talk to a lot of drivers. Hell, I've been married 3 or 4 times. I said, hell, if it's been more than 2, maybe it's you.
Yeah. That's definitely I definitely would think it's a problem for sure.
Yeah, you will make good if you stay out. It's what we call keeping the wheels spinning and the beavers grinning. You will make over 6 figures here plus. Your social life will suck, but your bank account will be like, ooh, sweet.
Yeah, but is that right out of school?
Almost. If you're gunning for owner operator, Prime Inc. is a good company you'll either go company or you'll lease your first truck. If you keep it under 450,000 miles under 3 years, you're allowed to purchase it, which takes about 2 years to pay off. Or you do what I did. I completed 2 leases and then bought a truck, paid for it, got rid of it, got this one that I'm currently in, and predominantly got what I wanted. I got all the bells and whistles on this Pete,
Yeah.
But when I got my title, I was dancing.
I mean, yeah, you've been doing it for years. You've definitely earned your space. I more question the people who are entering the space, but I also think at some point trucking has to come back around, because otherwise, I mean, forget just kind of constant supply chain problems, but we're gonna have a constant problem.
But what's different is we have people that are educated, that have degrees in computers and engineering and all kinds of stuff, because it's the job that pays now, because their profession, they can't find a good paying job. That's why a lot of them are getting educated. And the most important one, if you want to be an owner operator, like I did, I went back to school. I got my master's in economics and business. And I had broadcasting, that was from years ago. But you do that and get you a good feel for the business, economics and business. BAs, they're not that much of a big deal. But if you get an economics degree, you're really doing something good. You get a full understanding.
Yeah.
But I still like playing the part of a dumb trucker, though. They don't know I got a master's in economics and business. Yeah. But I still play the part of a dumb trucker because it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I mean, I keep hearing that all these truckers are going to need to go into logistical centers. They're going to be paid more. But I think you and I have even talked about this before. We're not there. The infrastructure's not there. EV's not there. Hydrogen fueled trucks are not there. None of it's there. It's all a dream.
We'll be retired before that, or dead.
Yeah. Hopefully not dead, but maybe. But yeah, I want to ask Roy, because obviously he had some strong feelings on this ride share with the gun.
Exactly. That's what's the name of this ride share company?
It's called Black Wolf.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little research into it. But do you really think they even have a chance in the rideshare market with Uber and Lyft right now? Just based on the amount of time Uber and Lyft has been here, the people that pretty much everybody has that app on their phone. Do you think that they even have a chance to even put a dent in the market?
No, I mean national, hell no, dude. And I don't even think they're going national. But I mean, like,
And
but I think when you get a city like Atlanta with where every day in the paper I mean, it's not just like what we see. It's like every day there's a passenger or a driver shot. I think I think you're taking advantage of the press a little bit. So in Atlanta, they might have a little.
That's
I mean,
terrible,
I don't
guys.
know, man. You know,
but
I'd rather be. If I'm going to be using a ride share, if their pricing model's the same, I would rather have a person that is registered, trained with a weapon, was trained by the company on how to do it. I feel like that person's going to be a lot more responsible than the person who just bought a gun because he's freaked out.
yeah, but at the same time, we already know that no matter how much you're vetted, background checks when it comes to firearms, when it comes to how much training you've had, ex-military, whatever the case, that doesn't guarantee that that person that has that gun is going not to turn around and do something horrible with it. Same with teachers that are vetted, all these other people vetted. We still see they turn out to be pedos or whatever the case may be. So, is it a really good? In my opinion, is it a really good market strategy to advertise, hey, we got guns in the car, especially right now with the U.S.'s culture. Everybody's freaked out about guns now. So now you're trying to start a business that's advertising, hey, our people are carrying guns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, what we do in the trucking world is we don't advertise that we carry a gun. We can carry it or not. We can,
Yeah.
but you just don't advertise the fact. I carried there for a little while, but only if things got really bad would I bring it back on my truck.
Yeah.
But it was hard to hide mine. I had a 50 caliber Desert Eagle.
We'll see and I think Roy knows this too with Uber and Lyft. It's just a checkbox, but you're saying you won't have a weapon, even though you're an independent contractor and should have the right to.
Yeah.
You're clicking a box saying you won't. So if there becomes an issue, Uber and Lyft's out. They're not going to help you with insurance at all.
Yeah, but we've already reached that consensus that let's say, because I used to carry, when I drove Lyft, I always had one on me.
Yeah.
We have already come to that consensus that if I really have to pull that out to use it, I don't care what Uber and Lyft has anything to do with anything. My life and my life, and my life or the passengers, that's more important. I could care less about getting deactivated. We've already been down that route.
Yeah, dude. In fact, I'd be worried about you if in that senorio you were worried about deactivation.
Yeah. If that's the first thing that pops to your mind, if that's the first thing that pops to your mind. Oh, am I going to get deactivated from Lyft or am I going to die? I would hope you choose not to die.
If somebody puts a gun to your head from the back seat, you should not go, man, I might get deactivated for this.
I don't know how you. I don't know how you don't have a bleeding stomach ulcer. I mean, you damn near piss your pants every person you pick up, and you're just trying to make a living. This is bullshit.
You know what? I never had an issue. You know what? I never had an issue. I did over 12,500 rides. I never had an issue where I felt that, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I'm a big guy too, so that might have a little bit to do with it. But at the same time, it doesn't matter your size. I'm not Superman. I can't block bullets. So, but I would think that would make more sense if this company is coming out as like an executive black car service. I think somebody said that, where they cater to high-end customers that would maybe need that kind of extra protection. But I don't see your average rideshare doing well with that as being something that they're promoting. That, hey, our driver's got a gun. Because like I said, and not to mention, they're going to limit themselves, because I know Denver, Colorado is very strict on guns. California is extremely strict on guns. New York, same deal. So they're going to be limiting themselves to so many markets because of the gun laws and gun issues that they have in those states. So I would think that
we have a lot of people that walk around with. I mean, I don't know how they give out so many, but we have people that openly walk around, especially the cowboys and stuff, because they always have their shirts tucked in, you can see it, but with their guns out.
Yeah.
I mean, like all day when you walk around.
Open carry here is totally legal. We can do it all day long.
We have it here too. You see it all the time,
But
I guess my point is, even your customers are getting in with a gun. So.
Yeah, it's possible, but I'm just saying that sounds like they're limiting themselves, because certain markets, you may not be able to have that large amount of people that would qualify. Like even to carry concealed, they just passed laws in California regarding concealed carry, and it's ridiculous. You should see the list of things you would have to just to carry a concealed gun. That would mean their driver would have to go through that whole process just to be able to carry a gun on their platform, and that's money and everything else it would cost that driver to go through, So I just don't see it being that company would work out very well. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they can go to Omaha, Nebraska and crush it.
Well, you figure too. Look at some of the most highly vetted people. Police. I'm not a popo lover at all. We all know this. I'll support them to a point, but they're some of the most highly vetted people as it is, highly trained with firearms, psychological stuff. They still slip through the cracks.
Oh, yeah.
So so now you're risking in a ride share that same situation that, God, yeah, I know this guy carries a gun. What's going to set him off for the day? You know what I'm saying? You never know. And plus, yes, he has a gun. He can defend you, but then he's putting you in harm's way as well, because if somebody wants to carjack you and all they want is that car, and now he's whipping out a weapon and they have a weapon, now you're in a crossfire situation that you may not have had to deal with from the start if you just gave up the car. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I mean, me personally, man, look, I'm back to like just having the plan, and I think everybody should have one, no matter what it is, even if it's just jump out of the car. I don't know.
Yeah.
But have a plan, and I'm back to the plan of running into something. I honestly think if you run into something, it's not just about like the impact and taking them out. It's about even a soft impact will probably get them to just get out of the car and run. They're not going to waste a bullet on you once it's already happened.
Yeah.
They're going to more deal with, okay, I got a full loaded gun. I got to get out of here.
Yeah. So but I think that would be another good topic. This company would be another good topic for a live stream with several people that could discuss that. That'd be interesting, because I'm going to do my research on it. So
yeah,
this company, because
I mean, like I said, you could I was listening to you talk about, I was like thinking you could just call it cartel. And then whenever the
to me it almost sounds like it would be an executive. It would be an executive thing, like people that do deliveries for, let's say, jewelers, or high up executives that may have their lives in danger because of how they do their job or whatever. That would make maybe some politicians that take Ubers and Lyfts and shit like that. That might be something that would work well for them, but I think for the average day person, I don't see how it would do well, especially against Uber and Lyft, being that they are already so popular and everybody. That's a name. If you say Lyft to somebody, they know exactly what you're talking about. You say Uber, they know exactly what you're talking about. Now, if you go up and say somebody, hey, Night Wolf, or whatever the company's name is, they're not even gonna. They're gonna be like, Night Wolf, who? What is that? You know what I'm saying? And we already know, right? When it comes to rideshare, even with Uber, Lyft, even the customers are leery. They're like, oh, geez, Lyft. What, how they're going to overcharge me this time? How they're going to do? Now you got a company that's coming out that's offering all these great things, this, that, this. Yeah, then the customer is going to be worrying even more. Well, am I paying all this extra because this guy's carrying a gun? I got to pay for his insurance. You know what I'm saying? So I just see it as a.
I'm actually looking for their. So it's blackwolfapp.com.
Okay, so Black Wolf app. Okay, I got it right there. All right, I'm going to check that out. So
I'm looking at it right now, and dude, everybody, you're right. It kind of looks, dude. Everybody's like in suits with like earpieces coming down and sunglasses.
Yeah, that's kind of.
But it says for corporate executives, high net worth individuals, celebrities, women, school kids, and regular people who want peace of mind in this crazy world.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think your average. I don't think your average everyday Lyft and Uber driver is worried about, oh, Jesus, am I going to be carjacked today? Yeah, we can see it through the news. If you want to specifically pull out any kind of situation, you can find a news story about it every day, whether it's rideshare, food delivery, bus drivers, whatever the case may be. But I don't think your average day person that's going to work catching an Uber to go to work is going to be like, oh, dude, I want to make sure that my guy is, carrying his weapon and he has body armor on so I can jump behind him. I don't think that's something your average everyday person even thinks about,
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
You see on my camera, do you see that pickup truck with a long trailer there?
Yeah.
That's what you call a hot shot. Now they're under 26,000. They're not under DOT regulations.
Okay.
As long as they stay under that, and these guys are everywhere.
That one looked long though. I'm talking about hooking it up to an SUV.
They usually got dually pickup trucks. And some of them do very well. If you got that niche, you're working for the right people, you can make good money doing that, from what I've been told.
So I am looking at the website, and it does say, Roy, it does say services for you. It says armed protection, and this is the default one, armed protection driver. The driver is armed and trained to use firearms in the event of an emergency. So it's literally saying, dude, this guy will come out shooting.
Yeah, exactly. So and so to me, and to let Alexander know in the chat, congratulations on your 21,000 rides, bro. I'm happy for you. It's more than I've done. Yes.
But then it also, right next to it, it has unarmed protection driver, and it says responsible for ensuring safety and well-being of the rider from A to B without the use of firearms. So what is that, like a karate master?
Well, see, yeah, that sounds like your regular Uber to Lyft driver. Like, what did they get, like bust out karate or something in the front seat? I don't get that part.
And then the only other option right next to it is school shuttle driver.
Oh man,
it says a door-to-door solution for parents juggling work and family.
Yeah, see, so that's getting into some weird territory there. I don't ever think Lyft should be involved. Any kind of rideshare should be involved with kids. That's a no-no to me. Period.
Same. I really think the minor things over the line.
That's it. That's a no-no.
I still find it interesting. I mean, I guess they're doing New York too, but I think their real target is Atlanta. I'm going to find it interesting to see what they do about this Atlanta thing.
Yeah, well, if they stick with the executive protection type shit, excuse my language, I'm sorry for cursing. The executive protection type stuff, I think they would do well in that range, especially in like LA, where you have high-paying celebrities, stuff like that take Uber. We all know those guys take Ubers as well. Atlanta's high for the rapper community, so that might be something that executive stuff might work well for. But for your average everyday come to Vegas, yeah, they ain't gonna care if their Uber drivers like firearm certified karate master. They just get me to the hotel and I'm
shows.
Yeah, just get me from just take me from Excalibur to the Mandalay Bay and I'm happy. So so I don't know how it would. It might work. It might work well here with the executive stuff too. We do get the celebrities here as well. So who knows? I think that would be their main goal, would just be the executive part of it instead of just trying to do regular rideshare. I don't think it would.
What about the Uber drivers? Sticking up the customers. That'd be a hell of a change of plans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because we already know no matter how well you vet somebody, how great their background is, it doesn't change the fact that you got weirdos, you got those one people out there that snap, and and that at least you don't know if your Uber driver has a weapon. If he snaps, yeah, he might cause a car accident and try to wrestle you, whatever. But now you're in a car with somebody who's armed that has the possibility to turn that gun around on you. And so, yeah, I just, for your average, stick to the executive. I think they would do fine. But as far as regular, everyday Lyft and Uber type stuff, first of all, you got to get past the hurdle of even trying to compete with Uber and Lyft as it is. Now you're adding all this extra, higher end stuff. And first, we got to find out pay rates. How much are they willing? Am I willing to go through all the courses, all the means to get this firearm training, licensing, whatever the case may be, only to be paid 25 cents a mile? I'm not going to do that. So, that's another thing. What are their wages going to be as far as
Yeah, so they must be good, because here's I forget the unarmed driver, but for the armed driver, you have to have your CCW. You have to have space, or you have to have mace on you. You have to have a knife on you. You have to have a blue card, and then it says /security guard license. I'm not sure why you need that.
Yeah.
And then it says you have to be CPR and first aid certified.
Yeah.
You have to undergo a background check as well as a physical, and you have to be certified for not only having a handgun or rifle, but how to use them properly for both.
Well, they better be paying me $10 a mile then if I got to go through all that.
No, dude.
Or you might as well just with all that, you might as well just hail down a policeman and say, "Hey, can you give me a ride home?" Because that's pretty much what you're asking for. You're asking for to be Ubered by a police officer or an armored car guard or something. That's what you're asking for. And unless you give me $10 a mile, we ain't going through all that just to be Could you imagine getting paid 50 cents a mile to go through all that training once a year, recertification? Hell no.
Exactly.
They're in suits and
that would
Escalades and.
That's just like us. We got to recert some of our like our hazmat. If we want that on our CDL, we have to recert that every year. And we got to go through physicals every year. We got to do this, that, pay for our permits. There's a lot involved. And it's like, you should get paid more.
Yeah, to me, it just sounds like an extra job for cops, like an off-duty job for cops. That's what that sounds like to me.
Or for cops who are kicked off the force.
Yeah, and see, and then you got to deal with that. You got to deal with, okay, who is this guy? Really, who is this guy? Like, he passed.
Sometimes it's the opposite. It's they left the force for it because they didn't like it.
Well, you definitely don't want the guys that beat up Rodney King being your executive protection either. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that either. So,
hey, Roy,
are those guys even alive anymore?
Roy, are you in Vegas?
Yes, I'm in Las Vegas.
And you're an Uber driver?
I used to be a Lyft driver for 3 years.
Shit.
Yes.
That would have saved me a lot. See, whenever I'm in Vegas, I park at the Petro there on the north side. I'm sure you know where it's at, by the raceway.
Yeah.
Well, I like going to a few clubs down there in Vegas. I'm not a gambler or anything like that, but there's a couple of clubs I like going down there, karaoke and everything. And, meet the ladies.
You could probably stay
Hey, I'll buy dinner. I'll buy.
I only live like 2-3 miles from that place, so I'm right there. So
the Petro?
Yeah, I know where you know where Lake Mead and Ellis is.
Yeah,
I'm right around that area.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not far away from it.
Yeah, because I've hired an Uber driver, or taxi, whatever, to come get me. And I was like, hey, if I know you, I'll have you do it.
Yeah.
I'll buy dinner and drink.
That was my point. Is that Roy? Why not? Roy will get the money, and you'll save money. Roy will make money, and you won't pay as much to do it.
Yeah, because I'm unemployed now, so I don't have an issue with getting a job.
I've dated a few women out of Vegas. Just on dates, nothing serious. I tried to, but I didn't even know they were famous.
Well,
I bump into a lot of people that are famous, and I don't even know it.
But I think that would be an interesting group live stream for you, Steve, with this company to get other people involved in that and their ideas behind it.
I'd love to get their CEO on.
Yeah, because I would love to come. I would love to come on there as well because me, I come with some good questions.
Right, I would love to get the CEO on because I'm sure he's very passionate about this.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he's.
Yeah, and I would love his idea behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you talk to your average Uber and Lyft driver, with the exception, like I said, there are always those exceptions that we see with the bad issues that happen. You figure in 1 million rides a day, you get one incident. So my thing to him would be okay, what makes you, as somebody who did 12,500 rides, never had one issue in 3 years?
Right.
How would you justify any extra expense you're passing forward to the customer? What is that extra expense? You know what I'm saying? And so that would be a lot of questions I would have for him. Like, where'd you come up with this idea? Like that your average person is that concerned with their, the regular mom around the corner. I don't think she's worried about, oh my God, I'm going to a 7-Eleven. I need armed guards and shit. That's not something that like you said, your average person even thinks about.
That's how one's in the ghetto, yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming home from work from, Pick and Save or whatever store it is, going home from work. Are you willing to pay an extra $5-10 for an armed security guard? I don't think that's something that's a common thought. So
it'd be pretty tight to roll up to a job interview in that, though.
Yeah. Pull up.
You can get out there just like guns cocked, ready. Like, I'll be back in a minute.
But it sounds like they're working on the executive end of Uber and Lyft. That's what it sounds like to me, and that might work out good for them too. You never know. You got those, high-paying people, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
I mean, the other thing I'm seeing, I haven't seen one non-Escalade. They're all black Escalades.
Yeah, see, and not only that, you're making, even with those type of vehicles, you're putting yourself out there as a target as well, because most people see those kind of cars, they're thinking that's a high-end car. It's probably got high-end people in it. So, whereas if I'm driving around in my Hyundai Sonata, nobody thinks that, that's a high-end security vehicle. You know what I'm saying? But if they see these armored-looking Escalades driving around, they're going to be like, oh, well, something's important in that car. So if they really wanted to, and we know how criminals are, they don't care. They'll walk up and try to rob a policeman, some of these people.
Yeah.
So
I
might try to do that Kia challenge and take yours on a joyride.
No, I got 3 forms of security on my car. They're not getting that car. So
you got to kill
what about
somewhere. Wise man.
What about electrifying the back seat and you just hit a button and fry their ass?
You know what? I always thought about that, and I've said this before, and other Steves, because I love the safety aspect. I would love to design something that would put a taser underneath your seats. That if something did really out of control, you could activate it from the driver's seat and then just shock them right through the ass end of your seats.
Yeah, right there in the nuts too.
Yeah,
up their ass, literally.
Yeah, have some kind of like stun gun setup or something. That is like a security system in your car that could just zap them through the seat or something like that. I always thought that would be like something to invent, but I don't know if you could legally get away with that because, So, but it'd be interesting. But yeah, Steve, we should have a really a group talk about that, man. Like,
I'm actually looking at the CEO right now. His name is Curri King Brown.
Yeah,
and it says Curri has over a decade of experience that has allowed him to perform at the industry's highest level. He possesses a real passion and respect for executive protection.
Yeah, so that's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, so yeah,
I mean, he does go on to say, and everybody else kind of thing, but you can tell he's.
I support it, Roy. You zap them and then they're knocked out. You just drive them to the police station.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, anytime when it comes to safety in an Uber or Lyft, it's just separating you from them. So anything that gives you that extra 30 seconds to a minute to separate yourself from them, that's all you really need at the end of the day. And it's like me and Steve is talking about. Steve's and I idea was exactly the same. I'm going to crash my shit into something. It's going to be a tree. It's going to be something because I'm not. Somebody puts a gun to the back of my head. Yeah, we're going to hit a tree. And somebody's going through the windshield, and it's most likely going to be them, not us. So we've always had that idea. And it
hit a cop car. Do anything.
Yeah,
like hit a cop car. That'll work.
Yeah, anything that brings attention to them and gives you that 30 seconds to a minute to get away. That's all you need. So it's because I don't believe in the whole pepper spray. You're probably going to end up pepper spraying yourself, which is going to detrimental. Even having a gun. Like you said, most people don't train. At least this executive, they're trained, but most people don't even train to have a gun. They can't even pull their gun fast enough out of their waistband driving a car in order to, especially when somebody already has a gun at you. You're just going to get scared. So yeah, but I think that's a good idea, Steve, to do a big panel on that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I see. Rick says, this is what we're talking about, Rick. I think you came in just a little late. But we're actually talking about this company.
Yeah, why are we talking about that? I wouldn't pass that anyways because of my background check. But like I said, they're looking for bodyguards is what they're looking for. That's what it sounds like to me. They're just looking for bodyguards or ex-police officers, maybe ex-military. But
yeah,
so
bodyguards make bank.
Yeah, average me. Yeah, I doubt somebody like that. Average me and Steve would be something that we would be interested in applying for. That so.
I don't know how the last mile shall turn in the right here, but have you looked into any of the last miles out there, Roy? Like,
no, I haven't done. I'm not going to discuss.
Pretty good, isn't it?
I do not discuss anything that involves where I'm working, how I'm working, or anything due to the fact of what has happened to me.
I feel you.
So yeah, so I've already explained this on other people's live streams. We shouldn't. This is Steve's thing. We shouldn't go into this. But yeah, I do not explain that. It's unfortunately I got to be like that. But
I mean, it's okay to bring attention to it only because people should know. I mean, look, Roy had a channel forever. And I mean, without going into all the details, like he got in trouble at his work for having a channel in the end. I mean,
yep. A video surfaced of a bad customer encounter, and somebody that was a subscriber got mad at me, and they sent it to my corporate office and got me fired.
Yeah, she's a subscriber of mine too, so I understand you. This is someone who's been in my chats a lot, and I'm not very happy about that. That's bullcrap.
Yeah. So.
That's a Roy, thing to do. I'm sorry.
I asked you if you were an Uber driver. I'm sorry about that, but just to let you know, my handle is not Rusty Nail.
Yeah,
from the movie Joyride.
So from now on, everybody knows I've been super open with my life and everything I do. I try to, and I can't do that anymore. So it really sucks because I love sharing my shit with people, but because of this incident, now it's limited me on exactly what I can share, and so.
And that's why I said it's worth bringing up because hey man, people learn from this.
Yeah, if one thing Roy's channel has always been taught is what not to do, or maybe to do.
No, but I mean, I don't. I've never seen anything that crossed a line for work. And if I heard you right, even your work knew you were doing it.
Yeah. Managers knew that I had a YouTube channel. They knew all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they don't care. These companies, they don't care about you.
Corporate wants you out of the way because you're like that's bad PR for them if they get sent that crap.
Yeah, and they were planning on firing me 3 weeks ago because of my background check, which they had already approved one background check, and because they got a new background check company, now they wanted to fire me for my incident with Lyft. So
yeah. I mean, to everybody, I would just say, just be careful. I mean, definitely. Just be careful what you're doing, man.
Yep.
Because all it takes is you're not gonna get the 3 strikes from YouTube if your job finds about your channel and you're saying things that you've signed away that you won't do or that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I didn't even know we had a social media thing in our handbook, which we apparently do. I didn't even know about it. So.
I remember you being on the lives, like either yourself or Flex or wherever, and you'd be zooming around the city delivering pizza.
Yeah, so, but it just happened to be the one time I had a bad interaction with the customer. It wasn't even a planned incident. It was just walking up to the door. You couldn't even see my face. You couldn't even see the customers. All you did was hear my voice, and that still cost me my job. So, it was just having to be a bad.
My understanding, they were complaining to you and. Then
Yeah, they were accusing me of stealing their. They were trying to accuse me of stealing their change when I hadn't even gave them their pizza yet. So they were trying to accuse me of stealing their change. I told them, "Hey, I'm not gonna steal your $7 in change." I said my hands are full. Let me get everything out of my hands. And he just kept going on, and sooner or later, his wife comes out, start calling me an a-hole and this and that. And at that point, I lost it. So,
I feel you there. I probably would have lost my cool too.
So
I don't like when people accuse me of stealing.
It is what it is. So now I just got to keep a little bit on the down low of exactly what I'm doing and just keep it like that.
That's what frustrated me the most about when I worked Spark is I had 3 people do that in a very short time.
But I've been offered jobs
How did they do?
already.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, there's not. I mean, I would think there's a, even
Yeah,
with
even
even with
like a
even
more
your
regional
even
or
any
local place.
even any background, there's tons of things you could do now.
Yeah, even doing DoorDash, you run across these businesses that are looking for drivers. They'll ask you, "Hey, you want a job?" They'll offer you a job. Just coming in to pick up a customer's order. So there's no shortage of it. I just won't discuss what it will be or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you this: every single pizza joint I've been in that delivers themselves as well has asked me.
yeah,
So
Dude,
I
it's
feel
the
that.
it's the smartest thing ever how to approach new employees, because to be honest, they understand there's 100 times too many Door Dashers and whatnot. So
Yeah.
why pay any money to advertise for employees? Oh, you actually work and show up. Hey man, you want a job?
yeah, right, exactly.
What they look for is, okay, do you use your pizza bag? Yes. Are you respectful and patient? Yes. Do you have pleasant interactions with them because you're going to be pleasant to the customer? If you check all those boxes, it's not hard to get offered a job for all these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I know what shit. I was offered a job at a local pizza place 6 months ago when I went in to pick an order. He said, "We'll give you 40 hours. You don't work the weekends. You work from this hour to this hour, Monday through Friday." And I should have
You might
just
want
took
to
him
go
up.
back
I
to
should have took.
B.
I should have took. Yeah, I should have took him up on that offer then, but I didn't. But it doesn't. Like I said, every place is
Yeah,
looking for
you
something.
didn't want to screw up what you had.
Yeah.
Despite like you said, what you and your manager would fight sometimes. He legit tried to have your back because he knows he ain't gonna replace you easily.
Yeah, exactly.
A guy
But
like you ain't replaceable. Like
yeah, but
you can't find one like
Or he
you
was
every day.
scared of Roy.
no, I might have been the biggest butthole in the world, but I was a good worker. That's one thing. I show.
I know you
I
were.
haven't called. I called in sick just like 2 weeks ago. That was the first time I actually called in and used an actual sick day in over a year and a half. So they knew I was very dependable. I showed up for work. I did what I needed to do. I knew everything in the store. So I could make pizzas. I could make product. I could do everything.
Close
They
the
knew that.
store.
So, yeah. So they knew all that
You ain't
stuff.
gonna have a
And
store till.
so yeah. So because we butted heads, it was not,
Yeah.
it was not a big deal because he butted head with his managers back when he was a driver. So he knew what was, he
Yeah,
understood what.
they knew the game. They knew the game. Like I
Now,
love managers like that.
to be honest
They
with
get
you,
it.
Domino's is turning into this softy lefty company now. So yeah.
Don't
So
get me started on that. That
yep. So
CEI score, some BS they're
yeah.
going on about, and I guess
Yep.
they have like real influence.
But that's enough. This is Steve's thing. He thinks I'm going to let him go, but I'm still thinking, Steve, we should do a thing on that company.
Yeah, I'm gonna
God,
have
why are
one.
you doxing yourself?
Are you guys familiar with this? I'm showing you
Yes,
my
I
Twit
am.
card.
No, but we got all your information now.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't really do
there's,
that.
well, there's no information except for my name on there.
Okay, cool.
This is a Twit card, a transportation worker identification credential. Usually, a lot of people in the airport have those. I wore mine when I travel on a plane. They think I'm an employee, but the background check to get one of these, they go all the way back to when you were in school. That's how thorough they did.
It's like a cat card for the military. It's literally
All
the
right,
same.
I'm out, Steve. We should
you,
talk
Roy.
about that.
Oh,
that
see you later,
company.
Roy.
We will.
luck, man.
Later, Roy.
All
Thanks
right,
for
cool.
coming
All right, bye.
But if you got anything on your record, you won't get one. But that's how we get on military bases and ports. You have to have a Twit card.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
here's Boss Up with
similar to what I
Kay,
have.
who does a lot of Sprinter van work, and he said Twit card. I think it gets finished here. Need information about that, because again, he does a lot of the next level stuff of last mile services, like like cargo vans. It's not like you in an 18-wheeler, but
like all I have is a year-long visitor pass to Fort Drum. It's only listed as food delivery, but they just, as long as I'm declaring I'm doing commercial, they don't care. Like, as long as I'm,
hey,
not
Bud Soda,
100%
this is
what I'm doing.
this is not for, because I'm gonna wrap this up here in a minute, but this is something for you outside of today's stream. Question for you.
Oh, Shane. Okay. Email me. It's in my about in my channel.
So
It's hard.
Other-
Very hard.
But where I've mostly used my TWIC card is going to Fort Leavenworth. I brag about that. I've been to Leavenworth 5 times.
and got
I
out.
That sounds like a bad thing.
And you got out.
Deliver beef there most
Wait,
of
you
the time.
escaped 5 times.
Hillary for Leavenworth? What?
Hey, thank you,
I didn't say that
Hannibal.
out loud, did I?
Appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Yo. Thanks,
Well,
Pokemon.
But weird thing about the TWIC card is I was getting rung up for groceries. I stuck it. It's got the same chip as your payees, people that are on welfare. I stuck it in the machine. It read it, but it said I had zero balance.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be damned if my TWIC card gets read on a payee's machine. I was just curious about that one.
They kind of interchange all that crap. It's just kind of annoying. Like
So-
they finally put Wick on a card here, for example. But
So, Sean, Kay's asking, is TWIC card provided by state or federal?
That's federal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why they do a
Definitely
thorough
federal.
background check. The lady that was looking at my background, they usually take a few days. She goes, "You were wrote up in the 9th grade for blowing up the commode in the bathroom with a M80." I said, "Look, I was a part of it, but the M80 wasn't mine, and I didn't throw it in there. I was just amongst the group, and we all went down with them. They threw us all on the dock just for being with them."
I love
I
it
mean,
when you did do something and you're younger, but there's no way you're throwing the person under the
Yeah.
bus. You're like, listen,
Oh,
were you
I'd be
there?
in trouble.
I was there.
my
I told him-
referrals were like
but I didn't do
3
it.
inches thick.
I told them that was 38 years ago.
Man, if you did that now, you'd go to like man prison, even at like 12 years old. You know,
Yeah, it should just be okay, kids. You got to pay for the toilet, and you're gonna work with the janitor for a few weeks to see what it's like to have to do that job. That's what the punishment should be.
Well, we had to clean the
Kids might
parking
be
lot.
they'd charge you with espionage and terrorism and
Yeah, I know these
They'd be
days.
hit-
Oh yeah, it's
okay,
so
well, who are you
stupid.
working with?
Yeah, but it blew that commode all to hell, and it ruptured the drain pipe. I was just there laughing.
See,
You know,
that's
it
what
wasn't
they
my-
don't like to show up on the scene and have somebody laughing. That's the first person.
the Joker over here?
man.
I'd
That
just
funny
like
to
to
you?
see the
You're
world
like,
blow
yeah,
up.
kind of.
And now, one thing I did admit that I did do is we didn't get in trouble for, but they kept our high school diplomas for the first month after we graduated. Down in the southeast, there's a grocery chain called Bilo, and back in the day, they'd always have this fiberglass cows on top of the store. It's about the size of a real cow. We stole the one on top of the store, lowered it down in the pickup truck. All you need is a couple pipe wrenches, undo the feet, and we put it on top of the gymnasium at our school.
No, Lord.
Now that I
That's an
admitted to it.
epic senior prank.
Yeah, but I don't know who it
Didn't hurt
was that
anything. He gave it
I don't
back.
know. I don't know who it was that brought the bloomers. That was the biggest set of bloomers I ever saw. Someone hung it from one of the horns of the cow. These things were huge. It was waving like a flag. I'm like, damn, those are some big bloomers.
All right. As far as the last mile, I'll say this. I was sick yesterday, and I got a $70 for like 20 bags of soil, like a pallet of potting soil, and then I got a $60 cash tip on top of it. And
Nice.
stupid me kept working all day when I was sick and weak, and
While
I woke
delivering
up today
medicine, no
completely
less.
feeling like crap.
While delivering people's medicine, no less.
No, not delivering anyone's medicine.
Okay. Good. I mean, I don't. You're like taking pharmacy and like just licking the bags and coughing on them. Like,
There's a lot more of that in Syracuse. There's not that much around here. There's some in Albany, but I probably could figure out how to stack them properly, being all those little stores are close together within 2 or 3 miles. But nah, it's just too much headache. I don't want to do it. Like I'd
Yeah.
rather deliver something stupid from Track Supply or Home Depot. There's like there's like a half pallet of flooring right now sitting at Lowe's in Augsburg I could do that's $100, but no, I'm trying
Here,
to get better.
I'm actually gonna run through. These are the ones I've taken this week so far, except for one I didn't take. I'm just gonna quickly, because I went through Frayt today. I went through Bungii, and I said I'm on the wait list for Metrobi. I showed that because they're in my market now. They're in a lot of markets now. So again, guys, like when Curri started, it's a good time to sign up with for Metrobi. Just wink, wink, even if they're not in your market yet. But before we go, I'm just going to quickly scroll through. These were ones I took this week. These are good ones to me anyway. Part of them, when you're looking at them, you won't see the map underneath and stuff, but it's the time of day and where they're exactly going from and to, not just the miles. But so we had this guy. We had this guy and
Hey,
this
Steve,
guy.
can
Yeah.
I reveal what I'm getting paid for this load when you're done with this? I'll let everybody know what I'm making on this load and where
Sure.
I picked it up. And okay, I'll wait till you're done though.
Yeah. So we got this for 6 miles. We got this for 10, and you guys are seeing, like, I don't, on this one, it's $3.70 a mile. But on this one, I mean, it's better. I mean, like, sometimes it's not always rhyme and reason, guys. It's from where to where at what time of day. This one, and this was a barely one, by the way, because Commerce City to Littleton's kind of like a tough. There's always construction in Littleton and way down there, but this is one I did not take. Blackhawk is where you can gamble in the mountains here, and there's never a load coming out of there. So it's like an old mining town that's turned into a gambling town. So unless that was like $100, I ain't going up there.
So yeah, there's nothing you can do coming
But
back.
4 miles for this. These aren't even paint, by the way, guys. These were a lot of plumbing fixtures and stuff, and very small things. I'm even trying to think if I've done paint this week. But oh yeah, I have a couple of these.
Ferguson more than anything, eh?
Yeah, but also some other things too. We've got some new accounts out here, so. But I mean, as you guys can see, like these are good offers. I mean, as long as you're willing to carry some weight and do some work, this was the crazy one. Should I or should I not take it? It took about I don't know. It was under 3 hours, 2.5 to 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I love those kind of deliveries because
me too. But the miles seemed a lot. It was all local Denver,
Yeah.
but it still seemed a lot. If it had all been highway, sure, man, but a lot of it was around town, and I don't really love that. But yeah, before we get out of here, Sean, like, where are you going from and to? How many miles, and what's your payload?
Okay. Now, it fluctuates, guys, and there are certain factors involved here. The maximum amount of weight I can put in the box in my trailer is 47,000 pounds. Now, if I'm carrying my max, I'm burning a lot of diesel. I'll get anywhere between 7 to 8 miles per gallon. Now, I normally pay anywhere between $1.90 to $2.90 for a gallon of diesel. That's with my fleet discount. Now, I was coming from home because I had to attend my daughter's graduation. So I didn't have a trailer, so I was bobtail. I still had a quarter of a tank. And I had to repower this guy in Napoleon, Ohio, which is about an hour and a half north drive from where I live. I had to pick his trailer and then take his load in because he ran out of hours. So I had to deliver to Walmart, which I did last night, and only Illinois from Napoleon. Napoleon is west of Toledo, about 40 miles, I think. And I had to go to Olney, Illinois, which is in the southeastern part of Illinois. That was my first stop. They took 4 skids. The total weight on this load was only 21,000 pounds. It's produce. And I'm taking the rest of it to south of Memphis, Tennessee. I'm currently about ready to get into Arkansas on 55. All together, deadhead, bobtailed up there. Now, I bobtailed, got the load, and I made it to Olney on that quarter of a tank and still had some left. So I ended up getting 60 gallons of fuel. Cost me $250 and change. And, that gave me over a quarter of a tank. And I had to fill my reefer unit up. And then from there, that was like 300 miles. Altogether, we're talking just under 700 miles. But the load is paying me just under $1,700. It only took me a day and a half to run this load.
1,200 after gas or after diesel. And then how many miles is that?
About 668. The load paid $1,678 and change.
That's pretty good.
But that's just for a day and a half. I'll get deliver this to Kroger there tonight, and in the morning I'll have another load, hopefully going out to California.
Delivering to DCs, basically.
I'm sorry.
To DCs, like you went to Walmart DC, now you go to Kroger's.
Yeah, the distribution centers.
Okay. I know, like I've been by the one in Marcy.
So wait, when you deadheaded from Illinois to
No, Ohio. I live in Ohio.
right, when you deadheaded from Ohio to the first spot, there was nothing at all on any of the boards or anything that would have been worth grabbing?
No, they asked me to repower this guy. I was the nearest truck that didn't have a load or anything. Oh yeah, I'll do it. Just went up there and got it from him. Took off for only.
How far away were you again?
All together with the deadhead, it was 668 miles.
Yeah. Okay.
See, but
now,
I mean that's why I'm wondering. Like, there's nothing to take between points A and B on that deadhead.
Oh, there was, but they.
Oh, okay.
That was the only one available to what we call a repower, because if he couldn't make it on time and they needed that load to be there on time, so they pay me to go up there and get it from them and run it. But like say I deadhead from I deadhead from Memphis to West Memphis, which is about 20-30 miles, give or take, and I pick up from the U.S. cold storage there and take it out to like Tracy, California. That load can pay me anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000, and I could have it done in 3 days. And then coming out of California, usually I don't get paid no less than $3.50 to $5 a mile coming out of California. That's why I like the loads coming out of California. Even going in pays good, but coming out pays even better. Now going to Florida pays good going in, but pays crap coming out.
So is it just one last thing I want to know? The California thing, is that how the pay has always been, or is that partially because of the 70,000 independent contractor truckers that can't work?
The revenue has always been good. It just keeps getting better and better, actually.
Right, but I'm asking, do you think part of it is? I know the pandemic didn't help to understand this stuff and all these other things, but like, do you think part of it's because these 70,000 are in limbo? And I understand it's a constantly moving, changing target.
Yeah, maybe because they lack drivers in California to move freight. That's why they pay so well. Now, like places in the Northeast, like your New England states, the cost of living there is just as bad as California, but they pay us crap going out of there if you're lucky to get a load.
Yeah, I got a buddy who's owner operator here, and he says getting loads out of New York's a pain for him.
Yeah, and then if you do, they pay crap too, but they're paid good going in.
He lucked out because he got some kind of contract with Track Supply, so he kind of basically does their local route and then just grabs whatever else he can in between.
Yeah,
a lot of the local drivers get paid good because of the cost of living that's there, but they don't pay us determining the cost of living. That's why a lot of drivers in California move to Western Arizona or Western Nevada there, and they still pull freight in California, but they're living in an area that's low cost of living, like Ohio, where I live. Low cost of living. That's why I make bank.
Yeah, he lives in a city where if you're not on the main stretch of road or going right straight to the center of town to where the government buildings will have internet, you ain't gonna have it broadband internet. So where he lives is very, very cheap because of that. So he's fortunate. But like otherwise, the taxes and the price of living here are freaking goddamn insane. Like he has to go out of his way to go to our mill store. Yeah. All right, we get out of here, guys.
Yeah, we're getting out of here, guys. If you want to learn about Frayt, Metrobi, or Bungii, I actually in the start of this one I was talking about it, and then I talked about some other things and some Curri stuff. And so, if you guys missed part of this and you want to go back, every week we're going to talk about this stuff. So we'll be back.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah, of course. And next week, actually, Boss Up with Kay is going to be here too, so that should be a very fun discussion. I like Kay. I did a thing with him on Hannibal, and we've been communicating since. And he's kind of like he's on my next level. Like he's been running that Sprinter van, so and I can see him like he seems to be running into the same kind of struggles I would imagine I'd run into. So I can totally associate with his channel. So for those of you looking to up your game in last mile and maybe even just look at even the option of going up a level in vehicle, yeah, that's a good channel, because a lot of the channels are just very successful people with cargo vans. And not that Kay isn't, but he's been through the struggles. So I feel like I relate to that a lot more than just showing me how easy it is, because I don't think anything's that easy. So, but that's it, guys. And we'll be back here next week. So join the last mile. There's lots to learn, guys. And this is, I mean, look, if you're in any sizable city or not, or whatever, that I'm putting out so many different apps. There's more last mile courier apps than there are delivery, ride share, everything, shopping all together. So there is so much of this that the space is hot. And I know a lot of places, maybe if you got on the Curri wait list, you're not checking out these others, but you should, because look, I know most people are struggling harder than they have in a long time with the food apps. It might, like you've always done with multi-apping, it might be time to step outside the comfort zone and try last mile. I mean, you can start off with as simple as Roadie if you haven't done Roadie.
Even if I got DoorDash back today, I couldn't play the same games I used to, because now you can't do the unassigned game to figure out what pays what. So they're playing more games with us guys, and they're paying us less and less and less. So the last mile apps, I mean, like you just heard me, $70 for 20 bags of potting soil. Just do the legwork.
And
it's
most of the last mile apps, if not, like Curry's 100% transparent and always looking to be more transparent. Most of them are very transparent, and I don't think they're hiding things on some of them. I think they just haven't got around to going, oh, that's probably important, let's put that in there. It's not like they don't care. They'd rather you only take it based on if you're going to take it. They just want, look, if you take it, they want you to take it. That's the end of the story.
Roadie, here's the problem I've been having is in the box, it might be that, or it'll be the dimension of the thing in the box, and the box will be just a few inches too big for what you have. And that is a common problem I've run into. Or for like the grills, I had like 3 grills. If they were in the boxes, I could have took them, but I couldn't take them because they were fully assembled. So it is what it is. And just be careful when you're doing roadies, guys, and make sure you know how to say it to support, saying, well, the dimensions were not what they advertised, and they should just throw you $4 to $6. It's not even about getting that pay. It's just getting out of the job without them freezing your account, because they can freeze your account over that.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
But have a good one.
You guys have a good one. Thanks for having me, Steve. Y'all have a good day.
Everybody have a good day. Peace.
Well, midnight head by Bungii on a rainy night, Steve.